Hi, welcome to the live episode of Two Cranky Guys. I'm still Will with a little less hair.
I'm Ty, and I look more like him now. It's not a bad thing, you know.
It's not a horrible
all right.
thing.
Yeah,
it's not a horrible thing at
Sure.
all. So, you should understand that we only have one episode this week because, well, you know, life.
Right.
And that doesn't make Arrow any. I'm sorry, it's not Arrow.
Flash?
It's Flash.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't make Flash any less important, even though this episode may have been not so much of an epic, you know.
No, it was a little bit of a letdown after the crossover that we had. Truthfully, I mean,
you know.
Yeah, I saw the previews and I saw, hey, Cold and Trickster and Weather Wizard. This is going to be cool.
Right.
After that kind of thing, we better bring out 3 rogues. But to tell you the truth, I was a little let down.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a downer. You know, it was a filler. It was what we expected it to be, which was just something to pass the time. The holidays are there.
Right.
They really just wanted to not really set anything up, but they just wanted to show us that little teaser at the end, that little snippet, that cliffhanger to let us know that
Wells is finally going to turn into the a-hole that we all thought he was going to, it doesn't necessarily. I'm going to put it out there that they probably telegraphed that a little bit because we're on episode 9 now, so we probably have at least 9 more to go. I haven't really checked the whole episode list, but there's plenty of time for Wells to redeem himself, But
Sure.
they're definitely telegraphing that he is going to be siding with Zoom in some way. Now, not because he wants to,
right,
but because he's being forced to.
As you mentioned, there's always that trick that writers use, a little bit of misdirection. So they could just be telling us, hey, Wells is going to become a bad guy, but in reality, he's probably going to redeem himself.
I think so. I really think that they like Tom Cavanaugh, and the fans really like Tom Cavanaugh.
He's a great actor.
I don't think that they're going to turn him into a bad guy again because we've seen that before. Now, granted, now we're finding out why Zoom actually wants to get a hold of Barry. And it's really reminiscent of the Reverse Flash storyline, which is a little bit of a letdown to me because it's where the Reverse Flash was trying to build up Barry so he could get back home.
Right.
Zoom is wanting to fatten up Barry in this case so he can take as much of the Speed Force from him as he can. So really similar kind of ideas that these villains are working off of here. And I was hoping maybe they'd have something different going on. I actually kind of like the gunslinger attitude here. Is like, I'm going to be the fastest man alive.
Right.
But I guess they thought, well, with that kind of storyline, we don't really have a way to stretch it out through the entire season. So they went back to fattening Barry up like a goose. So, the problem with trying to fatten up somebody who has a Speed Force is that they eat constantly. So it's not going to happen,
He's going to stay kind of lean, a little gainy, a little chewy.
Yeah, some things that I did like. Mark Hamill, of course, a lot of fun to watch. It was really hard not to watch and listen to him and not picture the Joker. And a lot of people made the parallel between the Trickster and the Joker, especially with Mark Hamill playing it. But he was a lot of fun to watch.
He was a blast, certainly.
Leonard Snart, we had Cold in there, and he was really good to see. He's not going to just go bad just because that's the wrong thing to do.
Right.
He has his own reasons, and so it was cool to see Snart decide not to side with the Rogues,
right,
and went his own way, and even gave Barry a little tip-off. But probably Barry says it himself. Oh, you can't stand to have anything like over your head, and so you're doing this because of that. You're letting me know that they're on to me, or they're going to be coming after me because of that. But I think the one thing that really bothered me was every time they said Merry Christmas or there was a Christmas joke, I was like, 1 or 2 is fine. But boy, I was starting to get a little bowled over with all the Christmassy stuff. A
little cranky.
Yeah, maybe a little Christmas cranky with that whole thing. I enjoy Christmas, but when you're trying to shove it down my throat constantly, I'm going to feel like a pâté goose, and it's not going to be good.
I will say this. I will say that the scene where the Trickster is sitting with the child on his lap and he's giving out the bombs. I thought it was a little unnecessary to have Mark Hamill pull the beard down.
But it was pretty creepy.
Hey guys, it's me.
Right. We all knew it was him, but I think that character can't help but say like, ha ha, it's me right here. You see this? I'm not, especially with him making the fun little Christmas carols like, deck the halls with parts of holly. I was like, that's good. I enjoy him being like crazy. He's nuts. The way they decided to take care of the bombs, which were spread out amongst a bunch of kids, was a little bit, iffy to me.
That was Golden Age comics is what that was.
Yeah, and then Cisco with his little line, he's like, Magnus B! And I was like, hey, that didn't feel like Cisco to me.
My wife turned to me at that point and said, can they say that on TV?
I was like, yeah, they can say it. But it didn't, for some reason, it didn't feel right for Cisco.
Not for Cisco.
Yeah, I mean, he gets excited, but he doesn't do that. I don't know. It felt a little strange.
Maybe he's still torn up from having this breakup with Hot Girl.
Maybe
yeah.
So whole thing you tend to get a little extra cranky because something else in your life is messing things up, right?
He said cranky too.
Yeah, I said cranky too. If you're playing at home, this is where you would have done too by now. Okay, so I guess a few other things that kind of bothered me were right at the beginning we have Barry going to some place where the trickster set up a trap, and some people have an issue with Barry flying out of the building. And I don't know if I have a problem with it or not, truthfully.
We've seen it in the cartoon. We saw that he can kind of hover, but he doesn't have that control.
Right.
It's a controlled fall, is what it is.
Right, but he was able to boost himself and Patty out of a building, and land without killing each other.
As fast as those dreidels were spinning, I don't see how he couldn't have done that. He's the fastest man alive. Well, he could have stepped in between each and every one of those suckers.
Right. He could have grabbed Patty and left. I don't get that. That didn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Yeah, a little bit of a.
It was kind of weird that
we want to show something. We want to show the Flash doing something different.
Right. Whenever we see that Patty has an issue, of course, with Martin the Weather Wizard because. He kind of helped. He killed off her father,
right?
And she takes that really to heart, and she's like, "I'm going to kill the dude, and it's going to be legal because I'm a cop," and all this kind of stuff. At the very end, after Trickster and Wizard's plot just kind of goes south, she shows up, shoots Barry with this little clamp thing that buries a couple things in the ground.
That clamp was kind of slick.
No, that was cool. I was like, "Whoa, this is a different Patty. Who is this? This is like a doppelganger. This is not even Patty."
I kept thinking, just phase out of it, dude.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, he could just go right through it. I mean, he did that the first season, and to me, if I have a superpower like that, I'm going to be practicing that thing so I can phase at a moment's notice. Jay Garrick phased through Wells's body and grabbed a bullet. This is a very common thing for speedsters to do. I don't know why Barry forgets his powers every once in a while. He can do a lot, and he just doesn't think about it. And he's a smart guy. He said over and over again.
He's a forensic scientist. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. He should be able to just pull that right. Oh, I'm just going to face through this. No sweat.
Right. Done. Or, in some cases, if he's vibrating his hand enough, he could cut through some of those things. Like vibrating your hand can cause enough friction to cut through something. Maybe that wasn't a good idea, but I'm just looking for another alternative other than phasing through it. Things that I did like, we did kind of get to see a little bit different Patty. We did get to see Wells a little bit more crotchety, but he has a good reason because Zoom still has his daughter, which I think any parent with their kid is gone. I wouldn't be able to enjoy myself or my time, or doesn't matter what time of the year, whether it's Christmas or whatever. Yeah. So one thing that did bother me though, related to Patty, is that the way they find out where the trickster is the reflection in the eye.
How played is that? How often have we seen, let's zoom in on the reflection of the eye?
Yeah, it's like one of those CSI, like let's zoom in. Like we first saw it and really remember it from Blade Runner. Right. He's like enhance.
So how high def would that camera have had to have been?
Well, that's the thing
initially.
Too. He's like on a webcam. He hacked in. How can you get that kind of resolution? It's ridiculous, And then Patty sees it too. And
how does she see it if she doesn't have access to Star Labs?
Cisco can extrapolate something through an algorithm and like, aha, that's Mr. Jiggle Wiggle right there. I know who that is. And I just, and what was weird to me is for some reason the way they played it, whenever Patty goes, it's Mr. Jiggle Wiggle, my dad gave that to me. And I was like, so did Wells. Wells gave Jesse one of those things, and it made some kind of weird correlation to me.
What
between
point does
those
that
two.
have in the story?
Yeah, I didn't quite understand. I guess they had to get Patty there, so Barry would meet up with her.
Right.
So overall, it was a fun Christmas episode, I guess. It was nice to see the Rogues in there,
holiday.
all of them at one time. Got to see Mark Hamill. Got to see Colt again. He's always fun to see.
Got to see Wally West.
Wally West showed up
West.
at the end, which is kind of cool. One thing I'm really glad about?
What's that?
In all the talk out there, I haven't seen one person go like, Wally West can't be black. I haven't seen one person say that, and I'm
that
really,
is very true.
I feel a little bit of warmness, a little Christmas spirit because of that. We saw that after John
Wally
Boyega
West can
came
be
out
any
as
color. Flash
the black.
can be any color.
Sure, why not?
You don't have to be stuck in the golden age mentality of superheroes by far.
Yeah.
So
that was nice.
That was good stuff.
I think we're gonna end on that, like a nice little up note right there.
Absolutely. So this Flash episode, what'd you say? Like maybe a B+?
Nah, I'm gonna get a B. I'm gonna get a B.
Straight up B?
Yeah, not a B- because I enjoyed it. It was fun, but there was a lot of things missing, or there were some things that didn't quite work out for me. I'll give it a B.
I would give it a B+.
Yeah.
Just because it was kind of fun to watch Flash fly, even if it made no sense.
Yeah.
It was fun to watch him do it.
Sure.
On that note, thanks for watching to Live Cranky Guys. I'm still Will.
I am Tyron J. Hammondtree, Esquire the Third of the Esquires. Nah, I'm just Ty. So, hey.
Tyrone!
Yeah, it's true though. You check my license. But don't take my wallet. All right? Woo!